at Sacred Steel. The microphone jumps from me. Sacred Steel there with an Accept cover, Fight It Back. Bill, you big fan?
I like the original much better.
No, you didn't like Sacred Steel, huh?
I know Sacred Steel. I think the original's much better than that.
In other words, cover records suck.
I like some cover records.
Stop it. Please name one good one.
Let me think about that.
I'll challenge that any day. There's not been a good cover record, I don't think, ever.
You don't like the new Yorn?
No! Would you like me to play some of that new Yorn for you? Yorn doing
cover on there, right?
and Hotel California. And let's be real, and this killed me. Of all the songs, if you like Kiss, which I personally don't, Yorn chose to cover Paul Stanley's solo song, Live to Win.
That's a horrible. Nobody wants to hear that.
No, I got to pull that up. Do I have that here? I don't even know if I have that piece of shit here. No, thank God I don't.
Hashtag Live to Win.
Yorn. I love Yorn. I love the Alan Land records. I love the Yorn records.
Did you like his Dio tribute record?
No.
I didn't either.
Again, going back to cover records. I don't do cover records for shit. Not into cover albums at all. But why in the hell is this guy continually doing covers now?
Bill, do you follow Paul Stanley on Twitter?
No.
PAWL Stanley.
You gotta follow Paul. You gotta follow Paul Stanley.
Is this not the real Paul Stanley?
It might be.
Might be.
I don't know, but he fucking cracks me up with this.
He's extraordinarily catty.
Is this one of you two guys in disguise?
Not me.
No idea who
it
does
ain't me. It's definitely not me, but
I don't know who it is, but it's funny. Yeah.
It really. I'm normally. Like with cover records, I can't stand when people do these fake fucking things. This Paul Stanley guy cracks me up. With his, it's Memorial Day, but Tommy Thayer better figure out that this garage door ain't gonna paint itself.
Don't mention Tommy Thayer around Jim Bartek.
I know. I don't understand his hatred for that guy. I mean, I get it. He's. Why would that guy not go out and make that money? He's making millions of dollars.
Jackal One mentioned the new Ace cover record in the chat room.
What about it?
Jesus, that's fucking horrible. It sounds like he had a stroke. He over enunciates everything. Like it's fucking horrible.
There's a lot of lead guitar on that record. Oh, I will say that.
Not good lead guitar, just lead guitar.
A lot of it. But
So is Ace coming back to Kiss? In the big shocking news? I mean, he did do a song with them.
everybody act now because the Freedom to Rock, or as I call it, the Freedom Rock Tour, if you don't act now, you're not going to be able to get a front row seat. You better buy those tickets now, or the first 2 rows are going to be sold out by the day of show. I heard that show's selling horribly.
Is that the Kiss tour?
Yeah,
I wouldn't even know.
They're playing the B markets.
Yeah, and they're not selling shit. I think Ace is their next. Yeah, that's it. They're going to have to bring Ace back.
You think so?
They might get the original 4. Don't be surprised.
Peter Criss.
Peter Criss.
Oy vey.
Come on.
I used to be a huge Kiss fan. Is there any band that released their autobiographies and you read them and liked them even less after reading them? Fucking every one of them.
I've not read them. I've never been a Kiss guy.
You need to read the Peter and the Paul. Ace is just too drunk. His book is like, I was drunk, I don't remember.
First of all, I will not read the Ace one because John Ostronomy wrote it. I will not read that. You know,
amazing.
I've made up with Mark Strigl from Talking Metal. Him and I now chat back and forth, and we're okay. We do.
When did this? I missed this truce.
A year and a half ago. Dude, it was one of those crazy things, man. About a year and a half ago, he messaged me, or he emailed me. And
he sent the olive branch.
Well, but it was right at the time when I was trying to get myself a little less pissed. And he bought Little Victories. And he read Little Victories. And...
Okay.
And so we chatted and we expressed our differences in full, You know, it wasn't one of those, hey, let's try and bury this. Okay, let's do it. It was him saying this and me saying, well, this is why I think you're a fucking bag of shit. And him saying, well, this is why I think you're a fucking bag of shit. And we worked through it. Him and I worked through it for weeks.
Did you autograph his copy of the book? With a personal message?
I don't know if I did or I didn't on his. I don't know if he ordered that or not. I know that he did buy the new one. He bought Call Me Chris, which I was like, hey, thanks, dude.
That's like Howard Stern, Rosie O'Donnell making up. It's that level.
Yeah, it really was kind of weird.
I'm glad you did, because you were really upset with it.
I really didn't like those guys.
I remember when your first incident happened, you unloaded on me, and I didn't even know who the guy was.
Yeah, I did not like those guys at all. Yeah. And it was, I'll give Mark big praise for this. He agreed to come on our show with no restrictions. Wow. No, we'll talk about anything. And we did. And he came on, and we didn't attack him, but we did air our grievances kind of on the show. And we got past it, and it's all good. Now, his partner, that's a whole nother issue. But with Mark, I don't know John from Mark, to be honest. To me, they're both kind of the same guy. But he did come on the show.
One of them Paul Stanley on Twitter?
Yeah, it might be. But no, we sorted it out, and actually on an episode of Talking Metal, Mark did an actual really nice talk-up of my book, which was pretty surprising as well. So Mark and I have kind of worked it out. We do email back and forth. I don't want to say regularly, but...
Are you exchanging photos?
Not those kind. I'd like to see a photo of his wife, though. He's got a hot wife. I will give that guy that. He's got a hot piece of ass at home. That's for damn sure. I'd look at those photos.
You need to read the Peter and the Paul books.
Do I?
You'll walk away from going, these guys are fucking dicks. The Peter Criss book at the end, he tries to redeem himself by he had a breast cancer scare. And at this point, it's like, whoa, I couldn't have just taken him. You know? And Paul's is just, he comes across as, you know.
Is that why he can't hit the drums very hard? Because his tit is soft?
I'm still just a kid from the streets with a bad ear, people.
That's Paul.
People! Oh, yeah, I just have a bad ear. It makes me lash out at people.
Oh, shut up.
It is. I mean, he's just, the book, he comes across horribly catty. And then he talks about his new wife made him paint over the 12-foot tall mural painting of he and his son that was on the bedroom wall, that when you laid down and faced it, it was Paul and his son painted.
Ew.
And he bitched that she made him paint over that.
He bitched about this? Why did he even write this in a book?
Oh, it's you walk away from that going, Jesus, he was the last one. He was the last one I had any respect for, and I'm just done.
I've been done forever. I never got it, I guess.
But yet you fucking knew the lyrics to Read My Body. He was in here singing Read My Body.
I'm not gonna lie and say that I didn't have those albums. I'm just saying that you never
fucked a chick on an hour loop of all night.
All night. That is true. But again, I never. What I think defines me as not a Kiss fan is the fact that I really don't enjoy any of the makeup stuff. None of it. Maybe a little of Destroyer. I mean, really, the only thing I would really need to keep in my Kiss collection would be Double Platinum from the makeup era. God. That's really all I need.
That's a horrible album.
Well, that's all I need.
They remixed it all and made it sound shitty.
So
those
what?
versions aren't too good.
Yeah.
So what? It doesn't matter to me.
Too.
Yeah.
Because the level of times that I'm going to listen to that, I would never notice bad production. I'll bet you, honestly, I will bet you I have not listened to a Kiss album in 5 years. Not a single one. No way. It's not my... I always found them to be clowns, and you know the gimmick I always found to be clowny, and I don't like that, you know. And you know it's interesting because I know Bill's a big fan of Ghost, and I think it's the same reason I can't get into Ghost, because I've listened to their music and their music sounds pretty cool, but then I see them and I'm like, you know, them Mushroom Head or Brujeria or, all these bands that wear masks. Or the only one I like is Slipknot. And I know that makes me a fucking new metal poser, but whatever. I like Slipknot.
I like Midnight. They wear the hoods.
Do they wear the hoods?
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I could listen to that. I'm just trying to think if there's any that I
don't
really
mind
like.
the gimmicks, as you say. I like as long as they got the music behind it.
Do you like Kiss?
I like Kiss, but when I was growing up, I'm a little older, I think, than you guys. But it was Kiss and Alice Cooper. There was kind of the split. Either you were like a big Alice Cooper, or a big. I was always a big Alice Cooper fan.
Okay,
I like Kiss, but Alice Cooper was my number one always.
Right. We were talking earlier, and you might have perspective on this. We were trying to figure out why I don't like Alice Cooper. And the best we're coming up with is that when I started listening to Alice, when I started actually buying Alice.
Dada?
No, we played some Dada earlier. We played I Love America earlier.
That's one record I don't get.
Yeah, that's the one I don't get either.
No, the first albums I bought were those shitty 80s metal ones. Raise Your Fist and Yell and
with
Trash and
the Kane Roberts era.
Yeah.
Constrictor.
Yeah, Constrictor. All those were like the first ones I bought. And then I really didn't have any interest to go back and figure them out, I think. Because I was telling Rob, I'm on this mission right now. The two bands that I should get and don't as a metalhead are Alice Cooper and Deep Purple. And
you don't like Deep Purple either?
No, but again, it's the same story.
Slaves and Masters? Was that your first Deep Purple?
The first one I had was Perfect. The first one I had was Perfect Strangers, which Perfect Strangers is what it is. But then again, I bought Forward. I bought the House of the Blue Light and probably Slaves and Masters.
Should have asked Joe Lynn about that.
And Bananas and I bought bad. I didn't buy my favorite Deep Purple record right now. And this is me trying to learn more about Deep Purple. My favorite Deep Purple right now is Live in 72. Whatever that is, it's like 6 songs and each song is like 28 minutes long and it's awesome.
It's great.
But now I'm trying to figure that whole era out, and it's like it's not the same band that was singing, knocking at your back door about getting fucked in the ass. It's a different.
Is that what that song was about?
Yeah,
it was about somebody making a delivery, and they went to the back door.
I'm sure that's what you both thought. I'm sure that's what it was. Maybe I misinterpreted with my dirty mind. Or like Bananas, or like I know you like that Now What record.
Now What? I fucking love that record.
Bill?
It's a solid record.
I'm not a huge Steve Morse fan, but it's okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't stack it up against fucking In Rock.
Perpendicular. They're all good records.
Yeah, they're solid records.
Yeah.
Do you like the most current last like 5 records? Say?
They don't touch a candle to what I grew up with in the 70s.
No, I agree. Yeah.
See, and that's my problem is that I bought middle of their career up and middle of their
Same
career.
with Alice Cooper.
With Alice Cooper. I started in the middle.
Those albums are kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I have more personal touch with shitty records like Dragon Town or
I don't like.
One I do like is The Last Temptation, and I know a lot of people are hit or miss with that.
That one's okay. I was a big fan of Hey Stupid. I think that was one of his best.
See, I didn't like that.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that one either. But that was kind of the era that Along Came a Spider.
Yeah.
Those are the records that
The Eyes of Alice Cooper.
Yeah, I have all those.
There's 3 solid tracks on The Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I was 12 years old and it was killer. And that was boom. It was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Sure. But now I'm going backwards. And I'm like listening to like the Alice Cooper Show or Zipper Catch a Skin or, those records. And I'm like, wow, there's some really quality shit
go
here.
Back a little more.
Yeah.
Those are good. You don't like those?
Those are good, but the original band, I think that
when
stuff
they were
is just,
a band, and where I grew up,
it was the Alice Cooper band. It wasn't
Right.
just one guy is the Alice Cooper.
And I point that out to people where I live because they say, "Oh, you like heavy metal music? Yeah, I bet you're a huge Five Finger Death Punch fan."
Oh,
and I roll my eyes. I do that. I'm like, oh, fucking Jesus. And I'll mention Alice Cooper, and I'll go, but when it was a band and not the person, and they look at me like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Right.
Yeah, no, I get that I'm not an educated fan. And I think that's why I'm not a fan in general, because I'm not educated on those two bands. I mean, I listened to that old Deep Purple stuff, and especially the live Deep Purple stuff, and I'm like, man, this is really, really quality. And I know, Bill, you've been on me for years about Richie Blackmore.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, I know, and I've said to you 100 times, I don't get it. But I think I don't get it because I didn't listen to when he was being great. Right. You know, I mean, I have some records that I know are great, you know, Rainbow Rising and whatnot, and you know, I get that those are great, but I don't, you know, I don't hear greatness in Perfect Strangers.
You've only bought the Renaissance era Richie Blackmore.
No, I haven't done that. Look, I'm not the one that spent an hour talking to Candace. That's somebody else in this room.
I talked to Candace. I played her solo album.
Candace nice. She is nice. She's a sweetheart.
Nice. She's nice.
She might be the Yoko of the establishment, but she is nice.
Well, I don't think so. She says nobody controls Richie.
I don't buy that. Pussy controls everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on.